Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm his daughter, Victoria.
And welcome back to our channel. Today we thought we'd bring you to one of our favorite vineyards here in Sicily.
Gambino.
Gambinos. We love Gambinos.
We do. And Gambino is actually right on the hillside of Mount Etna, which is really neat. And actually the ash helps with the grapes, which you'll see later.
Very true, Victoria. And one thing too that I absolutely love, a client recommended us to get this book, and they actually sell it at Gambino's, but it's all the different wineries that are on the slopes of Mount Etna. And there's quite a few here, and it talks about the different wineries and how they process the grapes to make their special wines.
Yeah, and one thing that was neat is we actually, when we were there and we got this book, we had all of the Gambinos were actually there then, and they signed the book for us, which was really special.
They're a very generous family, so
yeah.
It's fun. Hopefully you get some pictures of them too in our video.
Yeah.
And enjoy the ride with us as we enjoy the wine tasting today.
Come along, let's
all right,
go.
Let's go.
So here's a picture of the Gambino family at the vineyard. And here we see the Gambino page in the wine book that we were just talking about. And we were actually able to get them to sign it, which was really neat. There's a column for English and a column for Italian. And here we have the different wines that we'll be tasting today, from white to blush to here we have the reds and then the Fuego Bianco. All right, so now we're in the car on our way to Gambino. I'm gonna video as we're driving so you can see the beautiful sights as we're going through Mount Etna on our way there through the different villages. Here on our right, or directly in front of us, you can see still some of the devastation that was from the earthquake that we had when Mount Etna was erupting. It's amazing the amount of devastation that was on this side. The buildings were crumbling, and the amount of ash that they had to clean up was just crazy. So they're still in the process of repairing, but right now it's still undergoing some major reconstruction here. And in Sicily, depending on the month or the time of year, they do different food festivals or wine festivals. Sometimes they have arancini festivals, which are the Sicilian rice balls. But in this town, in Zafferana, in October, they have an Oktoberfest. And in the courtyard coming up here, they usually have the city kind of blocked off. And every Sunday for the month of October, they do festivals up here where they have live music and all different kinds of Sicilian food, which is phenomenal. And they make the candied nuts in the street. Oh, it just smells so, so good. But they have it all set up in the streets here. And like I said, this courtyard we're coming up to right here in front of us, they have it all blocked off. They have dancing, they have music, they have games for the children. It's just really neat. So here you can see it up here on the right. So, and this tears down here and it goes down right to the ocean there. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's really fun too. And on the left here is one of the stores I get the Sicilian Mount Etna honey from. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll actually go up to Mount Etna and get it, but this is a storefront here that has it. It's infused with many different things. Some of them are lemon, they have mandarin orange, and they have one that I love in the wintertime if you have a cold, or in the spring for allergies, that is a eucalyptus and balsamic. I know it sounds weird, but it's really good and it cleans out your nasal passages. As well as there is amazing tea shop back there where you can create your own teas, and they're really, really, really good. Okay, so now we've left Zafferana and we're entering a town called Milo. And I absolutely love this part of the drive because, well, even though they have these nice sharp turns, as you can see right here, and it's very windy, but right here it almost looks like you start driving through like the rainforest. It's really, really, really pretty. And as you can see, the rock walls here, and it's all lava stone and just really beautiful. and peaceful in here until a car starts coming at you. But as you can see, it's just really beautiful, and all the vines growing up on the trees. So Etna has been erupting quite a lot lately. She's been very active. And as we're getting further onto this side of Mount Etna, we can see more and more ash on the road. So the road is the lighter color, and the ash is all of that darkness that you see on the road, which can make it very slippery because it's like driving in sand, and going uphill is not fun in that. But Etna has been crazy active lately, and this side always gets hit more with the ash for some reason. But fortunately, we have a good driver, so it's not a problem. So now we're going to be getting out of the wooded area, and you'll be able to see the coastline from this side of the mountain, which is beautiful. And also right in front of us is another winery, which as we go around the corner, you'll be able to see the gorgeous views that they have. And not only the beautiful view, but you can also see these amazing grapevines. See, okay, look at all the ash on the side of the road here. Yeah. That's a lot of ash. I told you Etna's been active lately. So on the right here, you can see some lava rocks, which is really neat. And I think there's some also on the left over here. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. Yeah, so see all this dark right here? This is all lava rock. Really neat. Another thing that we love doing is picking chestnuts. And all along the hillsides of Mount Etna are chestnut trees. As we can see actually right in here, there are a bunch of chestnuts. And of course they're not ready yet because that is not until the fall time. So we'll come back here in the fall and pick some chestnuts. Wow, and now you can see that the ash is even thicker here. We have to go really slowly because it's really slippery. But yeah, lots of ash. It's about, I know it's hard to tell, but it's about 1.5 inches thick here. So yes, very carefully driving. But the good news is we're almost at Gambino. So I know it's hard to see, but here we are. We're getting to Gambino. Right down here on the left is the entrance to the driveway. Now this driveway is crazy, windy, and it goes up this hill. But see, Gambino, here we are. Another thing that's fun is I think you just saw that truck that went to enter this road. But this is also a two-way road, even though it looks like someone's driveway that you would have in the States. But yeah, this is a two-way street. So when you have one of those big delivery trucks coming towards you, it's a little hairy, and there's no place to turn around. As you can see, as we're driving up here, there's no pullover space. So proceed with caution is what I would say. But it is absolutely stunning once you get up here. All right, so we're almost at the top of this hill. Yes, believe it or not, we're still in the driveway of Gambino, or the road, I should say, getting to Gambino, but we are almost there. This is the last little stretch right here. I told you we were close. See, now you can see the sign. So this is the beginning of the Gambino property right here as we go through the gate. And you can see some of the grapevines on our right here. And there's even more as we continue to go up their driveway. Oh boy, I feel bad for him going down this road. But as you can see, all of these grapevines here to the right. So pretty. And we're getting up to the parking area, but I'm gonna see here. Yeah, okay, so you can see a little bit of the vines and the view, but we'll get some better pictures in a minute. But it's just so beautiful up here. These are all of their vines.
So we made it to Gambino's, and what we're going to do now is we're going to videotape some of the grounds so you can get an idea of the beautiful views that we have here before we do our wine tasting.
Then we'll enjoy some wine. So
exactly.
Come along, let's go. The grapevines are loaded with grapes. As you can see, they're still green, so they're not obviously ready to be picked yet. They usually harvest the grapes in the fall, but it's amazing to see how packed they are with grapes. I bet it's going to be a good harvest this year.
Alright, so we're about to enter Gambino's itself. So you can see straight ahead is the doors that we enter in. But this is some of the grounds before we go in. And what they do for the wine tasting is they'll actually give you a tour of the facility. And you can see one of them right now is giving or explaining to a couple what goes into making the wine and why it's so special here. So let me show you some of the beautiful vistas. So here is some of the actual vines of the vineyard. And you can see just how immaculate they take care of them. And you can see the view of the beautiful ocean from here. It's just amazing. It's so beautiful. And they do a really nice job with maintaining everything. You can see the beautiful mountains in the background. Let's see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. It's just really nice.
So the second you walk into the door of Gambino, they greet you with a beautiful glass of refreshing white wine, nice and crisp and delicious. Here you can see, now we brought it outside and we're gonna enjoy the view while sipping this amazing first wine. All right, now we're gonna go inside and start our wine tasting. So they have it all decorated in here. It's so beautiful. And they have our table already set up for us with our 3 other wine glasses and the one we just brought in with our starter white wine. So let's see what they're gonna present for us today. Oh, their couscous is amazing. So good. Vegetable couscous. And they have their own olive oil here, which is also delicious. We've had it before. So here we have the first two white wines.
White. Well, now we are tasting the Mount Etna white, which is the first of the DOP wine you're tasting today. DOP means denomination origin protect, so it means you have to follow some strict rules to call a wine Etna white, Etna Rosé, and later on we are tasting also the Etna red. Particularly for this is 70% of Caricante, which is the most important Etna white variety, and 30% of Catarotto, which is the other Etna white variety. Just looking at the glass, you can see the differences between the two wines. How the first white, the Grillo, coming from the center of the island, which is an area much more sunnier than the Etna, is a bright yellow color compared to the Etna wine, which instead is closer to the green tones, you know, the smell. While the Grillo reminds you of tropical fruit sensation, really sugary fruit, the Etna is more delicate, is more elegant. It still reminds you of fruit, but it's something more like citrus, grapefruit. You start feeling those herbaceous sensation. And during the taste is where you recognize all those differences. Because the first white, the Grillo, it's really smooth, round, with a good body, good alcohol percentage. It's a 13, almost 13 and a half alcohol content wine. While instead the Etna is much drier, much more fresh, given by the cold weather, so the higher acidity into the grape. And also the most fascinating characteristic of the Etna area, which is the nature of the soil. It being all volcanic soil, so rich in mineral, that gives this particular salty, earthy flavor to all the Etna wines, as you're gonna recognize later also with the Rosé and the Etna red. Enjoy your wine tasting.
Thank you very much.
The explanation of the wines, and what he mentioned too was to have the eggs with the first beginning white wine, and then to have the beginning two cheeses with the white wines. And the second two cheeses that you'll see here are more of a sharp cheese. Those go with the red wine. So now we're gonna try the egg and the wine. We also have some yummy, crusty Sicilian semolina flour bread, really good. And now we have the antipasties with the cheeses, the olives, grilled eggplant, and sun-dried tomato. In addition, we were just talking about the egg, which this one we've decided to put the lemon and thyme salt on. Really, really, really good.
You tasted both the two whites to start understanding the differences of terroir between the center of the island and the Etna area. We moved to another Etna wine, which is the Tifeo, the Rosé, the DOP, another DOP wine. We gave the name of Tifeo to all our Etna wine. Particularly, this is made by 100% of Nerello Mascalese, which is the most important Etna red grape, that sooner you're going to taste also in the Etna red DOP. As you probably know, from a red grape you can do both. You can do red, you can do roses, even white wine. Because what gives the color to the wine is how long you keep in contact the skin of the grape with the pulp. A process called maceration, that's for the reds usually takes 15 up to 18 days, where this rosé is just 7 hours. So in such a short time, the color which is taken from the skin is very light. That's why you got this lush, peeled color. And also the flavor, because the skin is also a very flavorful part of the fruit. So that's why, as you're gonna notice, it's not the typical rosé that sometimes they get that candied, sweet aftertaste. Instead have the same characteristic that you recognized in the second white of freshness, minerality, with those very light, really delicate flower characteristic typical of the rosé. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
I have to say this is one of my favorites.
They're all delicious.
So this is the inside of the winery where we're sitting right now in the dining room. You can see that we basically have it to ourselves. And then we have Victoria enjoying her wines. Why we shouldn't she?
Hello.
But it's so nice in here.
It's very tranquil.
It's very tranquil.
The doors are open, there's a nice breeze coming through.
Victoria, how are you enjoying your wine tasting?
It's lovely, thank you.
Are you sure?
I am. But what's really nice is that there's no one here right now. It's
I know.
basically like having a private wine tasting. As you can see, there's no one around us, and it's wonderful. And like Mom said, the doors and windows are all open. It's great.
Actually, I'm going to slide over so you can see how these panels of glass, they're open. And so we have the beautiful, you can see the breeze
You can
that
see
just
the
moved, the
placemat.
placemat just moved. We have a beautiful breeze that's coming through here as we're enjoying our wine. So Victoria, what are you enjoying right this second?
Well, currently I'm enjoying this amazing saffron cheese. I know it looks a little strange, but it's absolutely fantastic, especially paired with these wines. It's really, really good. And it's not too strong. It's a really light cheese, but it works really well. It's a little soft, but not soft like brie, as you can see, but it has a nice consistency, almost like a Hervati kind of a consistency. It's really good.
I have to say, it's one of my favorites here.
This is the Tifeo Etna red, just like the Rosé and the Etna white is the DOP Etna red. Actually, the Etna red is the reason why in 1968 was founded the DOP Etna area. So, since 1968, you have to use a 90% of Nerello Mascalese that you already discovered with the Rosé wine, and the 10% of Nerello Cappuccio, another indigenous variety used especially to give much color to this wine. As you're gonna see, is a lighter color. So, this is the Duva Nero, 100% Nero d'Avola grape. Nero d'Avola grows in the center of the island, and it's probably the most famous Sicilian red grape. Why this? Because Nero d'Avola belongs to that family of the so-called international grapes. So just like a Merlot, a Syrah gives you this red, which are full body, but also still really smooth, round. The tannins are not too aggressive, so they are really easy to drink and enjoyable. And especially they have these really intense primary aromas of red, fresh fruit sensation. We age this wine for 1 year into the barrique, which is the barrel, the smallest size of the barrel, the 225 liter size, so it's pretty much 70 gallons of French oak wood barrel. Why you pick the oak over all the other kind of woods is because the oak tannins make smoother the tannins of the wine. So in this way you have the benefits of a red that's aging for such a long time into the wood, gets like the body, the structure, but at the same time stays also really smooth, round, and easy to drink. Finally, you're gonna notice also the so-called tertiary aromas, which are the one given by the aging, which are given by the fact that these barrels are burned inside, they're toasted, so they release this smoky, oaky flavor to all the wine aged in. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Makes sense. You can smell it. Yum. Very good. Delicious.
We're gonna taste our reserve, the Etna Red, so it's the reserve of the Tifeo. The name is Petto Dragone, which is the name of the area where we are, which means dragon's chest, because under our feet is an empty magmatic area. So it's empty down our feet. So whenever the Etna is in eruption, you can hear the rumble under your feet and also the vibration of it. So the whole people, our ancestors thought that this was like the chest of the dragon which was spitting fire on top of the Etna. So this is our reserve, it's 100% of Nerello Mascalese. So So pretty close to the previous one, which was a 90% of Nerello Mascalese. So which are the differences? First, the exposition to the sun, because all our terraces are oriented from east to west. So it means that the terraces or vines down below, or the rows which are nearby the wall, they don't get the sun of the afternoon. This instead, being on top of the hill, it receives as much sun as possible. So it means that you will have a little bit more sugar into the grape. And the other thing is the age of the plants, because all the plants that we have here, the average is 20-25 years old, which is a good balance between quality and quantity of the grape. This instead is made by the plants which were born even before the company, 55 years ago. So older plants, they produce less grape. So you have a highest concentration of sugars, aromas in a fewer quantity of grape. And finally, the most fascinating thing is that these plants have roots which goes deeper in the soil. So they reach a part of the ground where the other plants cannot reach yet. So it's basically if they're getting all their nutrients from a virgin ground, it's so much richer. So all the sensation that you already felt in the Tifeo Etna Red are even more intense in this reserve. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful.
Yeah, look at the color. Grazie.
So now we go with the Alicant, which is a blend between the two international grapes that we have in our company. Particularly is a 90% of Cabernet Sauvignon, which of course is the most famous and cultivated grape all over the world, that grows in the same production area of the Nero d'Alba. That's why you will find some characteristics in common. It's a 14.5 alcohol content red, so it's a really strong and full-bodied red. Those sensation typical of the Cabernet Sauvignon. But we used to blend with a 10% of Grenache Noir. Grenache Noir is the only one not indigenous grape that grows at this altitude on Etna, where we are at 3,000 feet above sea level. If you get closer to the coast, you get some Pinot Noir cultivation, but at this altitude, just the Grenache Noir give good results. So as you discovered through the tasting, all the grapes that grows on Etna have a good acidity. So it means that it will give some freshness, useful to make more gentle the muscles of the Cabernet, especially this Cabernet, you know? And also the Grenache has a really intense, spicy, typical spicy flavor, which will make a little bit more deep, more profound, the typical Cabernet Sauvignon ones. For this red too, we use the Barrique, the French oak barrel. Particularly for this, we prefer to use new barrel that have been already toasted. So you will feel a little bit more intense those characteristic smoky, oaky flavor.
Oh, thank God you didn't forget me.
Enjoy it.
Good, thank you.
So we're going to enjoy now the Alicant, which is my absolute favorite red.
So now I'm going to be trying the Alicant, which is my absolute favorite from Gambino. And you can kind of see, I have a little bit of the last wine in here. You can see, well, not really, but you can see a little bit of the color difference. But the Alicant is just very rich and very good. Honestly, in the States, it reminds me of Malbec, which is my favorite wine in the States, because it's very rich and a little peppery. So I think it's very good, but it's delicious and my favorite from Gambino.
No, I don't think it is available in America yet.
No,
This
I don't
is
think it is.
Because didn't
No, this year's is not available. for
No, I don't think so.
America, no.
Okay, so this is our spumante. It's made with the French method, so it's refined on its own yeast on the bottle. It's a 2014 vintage, and this Boccatura, which is in 2019, which is this Boccatura, is the precise process where the yeast already transform all the sugars in alcohol, and you start flipping the bottle. So the yeast, the sediment, get captured in this, it's called crown cork, so it captures all the sediments, and you go for the opening, and with the pressure it expels all the yeast, and then you refill it, adding the same wine that you use. For this we use the Nerello Mascalese, even if it's not the Sisa white spumante, and then you go for the final corking with the cork you find at the end. So the typical sensation of the spumante, especially the one made the French method, the champenoise method, is the breadcrumbs. The smell of bread, which is, if you think, the smell of fermentation, like the yeast, the bread, cheese growing.
Okay.
You know?
Yes.
Enjoy it.
Yes. So as a wonderful treat, we mentioned something about the spumante, and they brought us out the new vintage, which, believe it or not, is the 2014 vintage, and that is the new one, and oh my goodness, it's so good. I believe we have either the 2012 or the 2013, maybe both at home, and this is just phenomenal. It has a little citrus, and it's just delicious. Very refreshing and phenomenal for anything, especially paired with aperitivos. It's just really, really good. So we're going to enjoy this now, and hopefully you can try it at some point, and you'll enjoy it as much as we are.
So once again, Gambinos did not disappoint.
No. I hope you were able to enjoy that as much as we did, but I doubt it.
So thank you for coming along with us, and please give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and please subscribe to our channel.
Yes, but for now, ciao for now.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao.